Hello everyone and welcome. We are here for the Burst Protocol set intro. I'm so excited. I'm Billy Brake and of course this is Jerome McHale and we're here to bring you another brand new Yu-Gi-Oh! Booster set. And that's right, it's gonna be the first one of 2026. I'm really excited about the Yu-Gi-Oh! Trading card game this year and we're starting it off in a big way.
Yeah, Burst Protocol is gonna be a good one. There's something for everybody in this one. There's great new cards for themes from the TV show and also from the Chronicles animation and some other Yu-Gi-Oh! Storylines as well. And then there's just some cards that are just flat out great cards that you're going to want to pick up.
Definitely. Any duelist who is playing will definitely want to get their hands on these cards. The set is going to be available on February 6th, but you're going to be able to get it a little early at your OTS stores or at the official tournament stores on February 4th. But even a week before that, we're going to have premiere events. We're going to be able to get your hands on a cool looking game mat and your cards a whole week early before they're actually released. And that premiere event game mat will be featuring the cover card Borrel Shroud Dragon. And that's going to lead us into the first set of cards we want to talk about. That's right, we have new weapons in the War on I. Now, not just, I, but AI.
Not me.
Yeah, not me, but
Not
I.
Not you, but I.
But I, exactly. So, as I mentioned, Borrel Shroud Dragon is that cover card, so that means new rockets. And if there's one thing that's true about Yu-Gi-Oh! Is there will always be more dragons. Dragon Link is a deck that players have been using for some time. It even won the World Championship a couple of years ago, and now they have a bunch of new tools in their arsenal ready to be found in Burst Protocol. So first up, let's talk about the first card in Burst Protocol. That's right, B-Pro EN001. It is going to be Rocket Loader. And this card is going to be able to load your hand up with a dragon. That's right, when you normal or special summon it, you can add a level 7 Dark Dragon. Now, if you're an old duelist soul, such as myself, your mind is instantly going to go to, this card can add Dark Arm Dragon.
It could.
It could.
It could.
One of the, you probably won't be adding that nowadays, but it is still kind of cool that we're getting a card that can add something like Dark Arm Dragon. But if you're looking for some more practical cards that it can add, Absolouter Dragon is going to be one you're going to want to keep an eye out for. I think Fantastical Dragon Phantasme is a really cool option. Anytime you can search those defensive options when you already have the cards you need to get your plays going, I think that's a really useful tool.
Noctivision too, right?
Noctivision is up there, and lots of different dark monsters dark dragons that Rocket Loader will be able to get from your deck, including a new option. There are also 2 more rocket monsters in this set. We have Rocket Detonator and Hollow Rocket Dragon. Rocket Detonator is going to be a level 7 Dark Dragon that you're going to be able to summon from your hand. And Hollow Rocket Dragon is another useful tool that'll let you get more rocket monsters out of your deck. One of my favorite parts about the rocket strategy is how it is kind of like turns your deck into a toolbox where you're going to have a lot of those different options that you can access when you need them. Via cards like Quick Launch and Rocket Tracer, and now you have some more options that are going to be added in there as well. So you definitely want to keep an eye on Hollow Rocket Dragon and Rocket Detonator. Now, we can't be talking about rockets and Borrel cards without going into the extra deck. Of course, they have some powerful extra deck monsters. The first one we're going to look at, Borrel Load Fatal Flare Dragon. It's a brand new fusion monster that can add a rocket monster from your deck to your hand. And there's going to be actually some new ways that you can easily get these Borrel Load fusion monsters that you typically don't see summoned too often, even though Borrel Load Furious Dragon, quite a card.
They had that good fusion spell as well. It destroys the materials so you can get their end phase effects.
Yep, and what if
stuff.
Yeah, they have lots of ways you can do it, and it's going to be a little bit even easier with some of the cards from Burst Protocol. So we're going to keep going, and we'll talk about those just a little bit later. Next up is Topologic Blaster Dragon. Now this card joins a very elite class of cards where it has dragon in the name, but it's actually not a dragon. My favorite one of those is Brionac. Dragon of the Ice Barrier, Sea Serpent.
There's 4 types that mainly happens with, right? That are more like dragons by class, as in like an RPG class, rather than the actual, Animal Kingdom class.
It's an honorary dragon. So
dragons, dinosaurs, sea serpents, and worms are usually those.
Worms
for all on Agave Dragon.
There you go.
Gains effects for.
Yeah, lots of cool cards that have that dragon in the name, but not quite a dragon. But we're still going to talk about it because Topologic Blaster Dragon is absolutely incredible. If you're looking for a new inboard monster that you want to have in your extra monster zone, this is going to be one you want to keep an eye out for because it has some incredible effects anytime a monster is summoned to a zone that a Link monster points to. So definitely keep your eye on Topologic Blaster Dragon.
It's a good lineage of monsters too. The Topologic Link monsters, like I think every one of them has been good for at least one format.
Yeah, definitely.
At least one.
At least one. And because, yeah, so many decks have ways to enable the summon during your opponent's turn to trigger their effects. So not only are you going to get the effects on your turn, you're going to be able to trigger them on your opponent's turn. Yeah, the topologic line is absolutely incredible. And so our next card we're going to look at, we already talked about it a little bit. It's the card on the cover of Burst Protocol, Borrel Shroud Dragon. It's a new Link 5 dragon that can rival the power of Borrel in Dragon. And the best part, your opponent won't be able to tribute it because no kaiju, no problem. And then it's going to be able to also have an effect to negate a card on the field, I believe. Let's see, target, yep, negate a face-up card and destroy it.
Face-up card.
So face-up card. But definitely a powerful Link monster you're going to want to look at. The last effect is what I kind of like about this card is in the battle phase, I believe, if it attacks, you can special summon a Link 4 Borrel Link monster, Link 4 or lower Borrel Link monster from your extra deck.
So start of the battle phase, you just get this extra guy on the field.
Yeah, just get to amass more monsters on the field. That's what dragons are all about. And our next Link monster I want to look at is Triss Borrel Dragon. This card can add Rapid Trigger, Heavy Interlock, or Double Interlock, which we'll look at in a minute. You might be wondering, what is Double Interlock? Well, it's in Burst Protocol, but this is going to be a Link monster that's going to help you access those fusion and ritual Borrel monsters. And so we might as well just jump right into it. Double Interlock and Borrel Reboot are going to be our spell and traps that the Borrel and Rockets are going to be getting. This set, this time around, Double Interlock will let you fusion summon or ritual summon by banishing the materials from your graveyard for either one. So if you hero players out there are familiar with Miracle Fusion, usually spells that banish the materials from your graveyard are really useful to get some normally hard to get fusion monsters out onto the field easily.
Sometimes you see Dragon Mirror in these sorts of decks as well, and this kind of fills a similar purpose.
Yep, definitely. Double Interlock would be a really cool card and accessible from the extra deck with Triss Borrel Dragon, as we just saw. And of course, Borrel Reboot. I know if you're familiar with Red Reboot, you probably recognize this. Kind of held your breath maybe when you saw it, because Red Reboot is forbidden because of how powerful it was. But this will be great in any Rocket or Borrel strategy, because you're going to be able to negate a spell or trap card while you control that Borrel or Rocket monster. And you can even activate it from your hand by paying half your life points, just like Red Reboot.
Now, the good thing, if you're on the receiving end of this, is that you're not locked out of that card type for the rest of the turn like you would be as Red Reboot. So don't worry about that.
Not as scary, but definitely will help you push your Rocket plays through. But yeah, there's some incredible Rocket cards. So all you Dragon League fans out there, going to want to check out all the new tools you get here in Burst Protocol.
All right, so coming up next, I said at the top of the show that we have some cards based on characters from the Chronicles animation. And there are some really good ones. So let's go ahead and start off with Fallen of the White Dragon. Not this one. Sorry,
Different White
sorry,
Dragon.
buddy, not this time. Not this time. So Fallen of the White Dragon is a card that counts as Fallen of Albaz everywhere, at all times, can't be negated, includes while you're building your deck. So you can only have 3 total between this card and the original Fallen of Albaz. And I think a pretty good ratio for this tends to be 2 of this and 1 of the original Albaz. So if you're thinking of including this card in your deck, maybe go ahead and try that out at first for your as you're starting to build the deck. So this card is extremely powerful. You can see that if it's in your hand, you get to send 1 monster that mentions Fallen of Albaz from your extra deck with your graveyard to special summon it. Locks you out of your extra deck for the rest of the turn, except level 8 fusion or synchro monsters. Oh no,
no.
There aren't any good level 8 fusion.
Where will I ever
monsters.
find those?
And then if it's normal or special summon, you get to summon any of the Ecclesia monsters from your hand, deck, or graveyard. And as you know, all of those cards basically have come up in top decks from time to time. So it allows some interesting combinations as well, with either Dogmatica Ecclesia or Incredible Ecclesia. The Tuner monster is probably the more likely one. And you can see the cost there isn't really a cost. It's that same line of text that's on the Fallen and the Virtuous. That's part of what makes that card so good. But there's not just this. There's also a new card you can send with it as well that is a new Ecclesia. So let's take a look at Ecclesia and the Dark Dragon, a new level 8 synchro monster. It's a spellcaster, 1 tuner plus 1 or more non-tuners, but there's a good chance that you're just going to send a copy of this from your extra deck to the graveyard first. Because if it's in your graveyard, you can target a level 8 fusion monster from your graveyard or banish it, and a card on the field, and shuffle both of them and this card into the deck. And that's going to be a condition that you're able to fill like all the time. It's a branded deck, basically. You're always going to have these cards in your graveyard, so this effect is almost always live. But it's also a great card to summon. In fact, you could send one copy of it to the graveyard when you summon Fallen of the White Dragon, and then synchro summon a copy of it as well. So during the main phase as a quick effect, you can banish this card until the end phase, so you're going to get it back. And if you do, you get to summon Fallen of Albaz or level 4 or lower monster that mentions it from your deck or graveyard. So you could get back Fallen of the White Dragon, since it always counts as Fallen of Albaz. It's a fantastic card, and it's one of those ones that's just going to keep coming back every time you use it, and it multiplies itself over and over. So you might even want to play 2 copies of this card, one to send to the graveyard and one to get back.
Yeah, definitely a really powerful card. Both these cards are going to be excellent for all the branded duelists out there. They got their hands on the Chronicles structure deck. And I really can't wait to see how these cards are going to impact that fan favorite strategy.
Now, our next card here isn't actually from the Chronicles, but it is from one of the major long-running Yu-Gi-Oh! Storylines. It's from the Magistus storyline that brings together the Endymion theme and the Witchcrafter themes. It's basically the Magistus theme. And the card is Spenta the Magistus Sealer. Now, this might not be a new card for a lot of you that are out here watching it. You may, in fact, have been playing this on Master Duel for quite some time. So if you have been playing it on Master Duel, you don't need me to tell you how good it is. It's a very good card that lets you do a lot of different things. I mean, you don't have Borrel Savage Dragon in the TCG right now, but you do have Zoroa. So you could set up a lockout of one of the types using this. I'm sure you could find something good to do with it. And if you haven't played with this card anymore, but you've got a buddy who plays Master Duel, ask them to tell you all about it. I'm sure they've got some stories about either playing this card or playing against it. It's a really great one.
Yeah, I'm really excited that Spenta is finally making its way to the TCG.
Now, next up we have some individually powerful cards that aren't really related to, well, they're kind of related to one of the storylines, but we'll get to that a little bit later. Let's start with one synchro monster that everybody really can use. It's called Zalen the Shackled Dragon. It's a new level 7 synchro monster. It's made with 1 tuner and 1+ synchro monsters. Notice it's not non-tuner synchro monsters. It's just synchro monsters. So you could get...
I know a very recent theme that could capitalize on this
Yeah, you
card.
get a little spicy with the materials that you can make this with. But the unique things about this card is the way that it lets you mess with the normal rules of Yu-Gi-Oh! For how you're able to negate stuff. So normally when you have a card like Stardust Dragon, for instance, that you want to use to negate something else, you have to chain that effect directly to the thing you want to negate. Now that could be a problem because some people will trigger a bunch of effects all at the same time and use the fact that it's all of their effects and the simultaneous effects go on chains rule to organize those cards on the chain in such a way that they're hiding the effect that you really want to negate from whatever card you have on the board. Zalen lets you reach back in time and go and zap that card. So the way the effect works is when a card effect is activated in response to another card or effect activation, you can either negate the first effect and destroy that card, or negate the second effect and destroy that card.
Yeah, that's really cool. It's very interesting how this card works, but I definitely expect to see some play for this in Cool Tune.
Do watch out, though. If they can trigger 3 effects at the same time, they can still hide the first one for you at Chain Link 1. You'd only be able to go after 2 or 3.
So there is a limitation to time travel.
Yes. Yes, it's just 1 step back, not 2 or more. It also has another effect that lets you treat it as a non-tuner when you're using it. But it is a synchro tuner monster, so as you mentioned, you can use it in Cool Tune when you're locked into only summoning tuner monsters. So yeah, this one's a lot of fun. I think we're going to see a lot of play out of this one. It kind of reminds me of Crystal Wing in a way, except it trades kind of like the raw power for it with a little bit more of a technical effect.
Yeah, I like it a lot, and definitely the artwork is absolutely phenomenal.
Now, next up, we're going to take a look at one of the world premiere cards from the set. We actually have a really cool world premiere card that anybody can use as long as they can field level 10 monsters. There's a lot of level 10 monsters that you can just throw out there. Eldritch is always my favorite. I like summoning Eldritch. Just throw an Eldritch in whatever deck has a lot of spells and traps, and maybe you get them out from time to time.
Maybe some Testina fans out there?
Well, I mean, this is a new Aqua Xyz monster. So you may, in fact, want to add Mercurium, the Living Quicksilver, to your deck. You can make it with 2+ level 10 monsters, so it's not limited to just 2. And that's useful because once it runs out of materials, it's going to come looking for more. And if you can't find them, it's going to take a bite out of your life points. So here's how the card works. If it's Exceed Summon, you can attach any monster you want from your deck to this card as material. And you can only use that effect once per turn. While it has material, your opponent can't activate the effects of monsters in their graveyard with the same attribute as a monster in your graveyard. And then once per turn during the end phase, you either feed it a material by detaching one, or you take 3,000 damage.
That's
so
a good card.
At the absolute worst, this is a delayed action Foolish Burial type card, where you can attach a monster from your deck to it, and then at the end phase, you can get it in the graveyard.
Or sooner.
Or sooner.
If you happen to get this monster off the field.
Maybe you put something else on top of it that lets you detach that monster right away and go crazy. Who knows? But you can start playing this card as soon as you can get your hands on it at that B-Pro Core Booster Premiere event a week before the launch. And then our final card that anybody can use isn't quite solo, but also isn't quite part of a theme, but it kind of is.
Theme adjacent.
We'll get a little more into why it is after the break, but for now, why don't you tell us about Forbidden Crown and its 6 curses.
Yeah, that's right. So yeah, Forbidden Crown is the new generic free agent card that you're gonna be able to play in any deck. I know a lot of people are excited about this one, so I'm gonna go ahead and break it down for you. It's not a card you can kind of just gloss over. You have to read each and every line. First and foremost, it doesn't target. So you're going to choose that monster at the resolution of the effect. So that's going to dodge a lot of targeting protection. It also forces your opponent to use their effects before this card resolves. And they won't know what you're going after. So if they have multiple effects.
As long as they're not monster effects, because you can't chain them.
Oh, you can't even chain the monster effects too. Yeah, this card's absolutely incredible. A mini Dark Ruler No More. I know a lot of people think about main decking cards like Dark Ruler No More, but going first, not as good. This might be that middle ground that you can use because it'll be useful to set face down or help you, break through the fields that your opponents are putting up. But let's go ahead and look at these effects while we've talked so much about it. So you're going to apply one of these effects to a face-up monster on the field until the end of the turn. You're going to negate its effects. It cannot attack. It can't be destroyed by battle or card effects. It's unaffected by activated card effects, except its own. It cannot be tributed. And most importantly, it cannot be used as a material for a fusion, synchro, exceeds, or link summon, and as you mentioned, Jerome, neither player can activate monster effects in response to this card's activation.
Not 1, not 2, not 3, not 4, not 5, but 6 horrible things happen to the monster that's selected.
It is absolutely incredible. You're going to want to be careful about what you put in that extra monster zone. If you get caught sleeping...
That's the scary thing.
Yep, and if your monster in the extra monster zone gets caught with the Forbidden Crown and doesn't have one of the arrows pointing down, your link monsters could be trapped in their extra deck for the entirety of the turn.
Heavy is the head that wears the crown, as they say.
Indeed, it is the case here for Forbidden Crown. An absolutely incredible card. I know I want to get 3 for a lot of my decks. It's going to be quite the card for Burst Protocol. Really pumped for it.
It's interesting. I feel like in a lot of ways, this and Forbidden Droplet will kind of compete for the same slots in your deck. But if you're someone who has like 2 or 3 Forbidden Droplet in your deck, you can easily just switch one of those out for a copy of this, and you have better redundancy. So like if you draw 2 Forbidden Droplet, you can't use them in the same turn. But if you draw 1 of each, then you can use both.
Yeah, definitely a great option to include alongside Droplet, and maybe not instead of. Maybe you find a way to run both. You could also just play 3 Forbidden Droplet, 3 Forbidden Crown. No monster effects are going to be...
It's fine. We're playing Radiant Typhoon Visions. We're discarding the extras.
Yep, lots of
so
things.
Easy.
Yeah, lots of stuff to explore with Forbidden Crown. Absolutely incredible card.
All right, so we're going to get into the part about how it could be a theme-adjacent card in just a bit. But first, we're going to take a quick break. Hopefully no unfortunate weather occurrences happen.
All right. Well, the weatherman did say there was a chance for rain of frogs
Yeah.
today, and
Yeah,
he wasn't lying.
I didn't believe him personally.
And the next thing I looked up, and Totally Awesome's just coming down. But we are back. We have returned, and we're not alone. The Darklords have also returned. A little bit of history. We have the historic milestone 300th YCS coming up very shortly. It's going to have 3 YCSs taking place all around the world in each one of our regions. But a little bit of YCS history. The first YCS we actually had when the name changed from Shonen Jump Championship to Yu-Gi-Oh! Championship Series was in Chantilly, Virginia. And the first YCS prize card was a set of Darklords. That's right, Darklord Asmodeus, Darklord Superbia, and Darklord Edda Array. Now they've gotten quite a few cards since then, and now
a whole theme based on them now.
A whole theme and lots of cool tools. And we mentioned if you looked at Forbidden Crown, there were some dark fairies on there, and you might have noticed one of the monsters wearing the crown in that picture. You might get to find out who that is here in Burst Protocol. So let's go ahead and take a look at our Darklords. First up of our 2 main deck monsters we have is Darklord Gulgule. It's going to be a level 6 monster, and like Asmodeus, it's going to help you summon tokens on your side of the field. But I think the more important part about this card is if it's sent to the graveyard, you can add a Darklord card, except itself, or one Forbidden Quick Play spell from your deck to your hand. So we just saw a really good Forbidden Quick Play spell, and maybe if you're able to use this like as a fusion material or find a way to just send it to the graveyard, you're going to be able to really use that awesome effect.
And the old Darklord spell and trap cards are really good as well. If you forget what the Darklord deck did when it came back, it has these really powerful spell and trap cards, and then the monster's on-field effects let you copy those cards once they're in the graveyard. And you can like steal things, surge things, revive things, all sorts of things of that nature.
Yeah, you basically get to use the Darklord spells and traps a couple times if you activate on the field, and then you get to use the monster effect on the graveyard. They usually shuffle it back into the deck, and then you can use it later on. Really cool theme, these dark fairies of the Darklords. The next Darklord main deck monster we have is Darklord Jehudi. It is going to be really strong. It's a level 4 monster. If this card is normal or special summoned, you can special summon any Darklord monster from your deck in defense position. You will be locked into fairy monsters for all your special summonings for the rest of the turn, but that's okay. But it reads kind of like Tour Guide from the Underworld.
It's kind of similar.
And be able to get 2 Darklords on the field will help you fusion summon. This card also has a graveyard effect that you can banish this card from your graveyard, target a Darklord or a Forbidden Quick Play spell in the graveyard, and add it back to your hand. So you're going to be able to get Darklords from your deck and replenish your resources.
Darklord's always had an issue where you didn't really have monsters you could put on the field without outside effects, and now you have a monster that you could put on the field that is also the outside effect that grabs another one. This is a really great card for Darklords.
Yeah, I'm really excited about that one. Now there is a new spell card. We talked about all the wonderful Darklord spell and trap cards. Now they get a new fusion spell. And this will let you fusion summon any Dark Fairy fusion monster from your extra deck by banishing the materials from your hand, field, or graveyard. Now we talked about how important it is to have fusion spells that banish the materials from the graveyard, because it's like you're getting your fusion monster for free, almost not having to pay that cost out of your hand or field. So that's going to be really useful. It's also going to give the monster special summon 1,000 attack, and even as a bonus, if your opponent, if you're summoning a Darklord fusion monster, and your opponent has a Darklord monster on their side of the field, you're able to use that as a material as well. So if you find a way to give them a Darklord, you'll be able to capitalize on that. It's a really awesome card. But if you're wondering, what am I going to fusion summon? Is it just going to be the first Darklord? No, there is a brand new Darklord fusion. That's right, Darklord Evening Star, and he looks so cool.
Yeah, count all those stars. There's a lot of them.
There's a plenty, but Darklord Evening Star, you can't target it. Your opponent won't be able to target, that is. And it also is going to be able to set a Darklord spell and trap from your deck. That means you're going to be able to use them on the field. And as you mentioned, a lot of Darklords are able to copy the effects from the graveyard as well. And Evening Star is going to be included in that.
So you're probably going to use at least one of all the original ones, just so you can fetch them out whenever you need them with this.
Yeah, it's definitely a really cool card, really powerful, even easier to summon than ever with Darklord Dance. I really can't wait to see what Darklords are going to do. I mentioned the 300th YCS is coming up. This is a deck that I'm hoping to see on the live stream. So if you're out there contemplating playing Darklords, maybe if you take it to the 300th, you could end up on the live stream. Who knows?
Oh, and it even has the copying effect from the original Darklords as well. So you get a second use out of those cards.
Yeah, it's really powerful. And if you use the Darklord Dance, it'll gain that 1,000 attack. So 4,000 attack points, 3,000 defense points. That is quite the card. And the materials, very easy. 2 level 6 or higher Dark Fairy monsters. That's pretty much all the Darklords.
You got to get at least 12 stars in there to get 12 stars on a monster.
Definitely.
It's just math.
It's just basic math.
It's just math. Well, going from math to the sciences,
and this is what everyone really wants to hear about.
let's talk about the new world premiere theme that's debuting here in Burst Protocol. It's called GMX for Genomics, and it's a hybrid dinosaur and non-dinosaur deck. So you can use all of these really powerful dinosaur cards in it, your Miscellaneousaurus, etc. But what you're really going to need is a balance between the two. So let's take a look at the first two cards from the theme, GMX Researcher Siland and Returned Dino Danine. And note that the Returned Dino isn't part of the theme, it's just, it's Returned Dino Danine, and that'll be important in the future. So just keep that in mind.
I also know you just mentioned Miscellaneousaurus.
Yes.
This is a level 1 dinosaur.
It is a level 1. It's a level 1 water dinosaur, kind of like that, what's that other good one? Animadoran Archosaur?
Oh, yes.
Let's talk about that in a moment. So we'll start with GMX Researcher Siland. When Siland is normal summoned, you get to special summon a non-warrior GMX monster, so not a copy of itself, or a level 3 or lower dinosaur monster from your deck. Now all the other GMX monsters and Return Dino Danine all have effects when they're summoned by another monster effect. So Siland's, for instance, is if it's special summoned by a monster effect, you get to add a GMX spell or trap from your deck to your hand. Return Dino Danine's is that if it's special summoned by a monster effect, you can add a GMX monster from your deck to your hand. Now, they also have another effect as well that have to do with fusion monsters. So Danine lets you fusion summon using monsters from your hand or field, and then if it itself is sent to the graveyard, you can make all of your other dinosaur monsters get an extra 400 attack points. These dinosaurs, they're not known for being big or anything. You just need to make them bigger. That's what science is for. Just make the dinosaurs bigger.
You can always get bigger.
It's so easy. And then if there are dinosaur fusions on the field, you can shuffle Siland from the field back into the deck to negate the effects of one face-up card on the field until the end of the turn. Now, the other two, like these two, look at them. They get along really well.
Yeah.
Siland and Danine. Nothing's going wrong here.
Seems fine.
Totally normal, great research, good science going on. And
we like
then
to
you
see.
flip over to the other two, the Chairman Kimmeridge and Associate Noma.
They look like they're up to no good.
They, well, they're having a great time. You just see those smiles. Just ignore the fact that the teeth aren't human.
No, okay.
Just forget about that. Well, they still have their human features right now, but these are the other researchers at GMX, and they might be up to something nefarious here. So this deck, obviously it's a fusion summon deck, but we haven't talked about how it fusion summons yet. The methods are a little unclear, but you can get more of a hint at it if you take a look at Kimmeridge's two effects. So let's start over there. So one of these effects will stack your deck with 2 GMX cards or dinosaur monsters, and the other adds the mysterious GMX Applied Experiment number 55. Not 54.
Okay, 55. Not 56.
Nope, absolutely not. So this deck kind of hinges around this one spell card, and it's a card that's wildly powerful, but might literally blow up in your face. So let's go ahead and take a look at GMX Applied Experiment number 55. This is how you are going to fusion summon. So it's a normal spell card. You excavate the top cards of your deck until you have found a GMX monster and a dinosaur monster. You lose 400 life for every card you had to excavate to get there, and then you can fusion summon a GMX monster from your extra deck using any of the excavated monsters that you find. Oh. So if you hit, say, dinosaur, GMX monster, you would lose 1,600 life points, and then you could fusion summon with the GMX monster you hit and any of the 3 dinosaurs.
That seems reasonable. I'd pay that amount to get a free fusion monster from the
It's pretty good. It's
yeah.
somewhere in between, a Shadow fusion and a Reasoning or a Monster Gate type effect. And that's why it's important to get the balance of the monsters in your deck correct. Because if you don't, and you're sitting there flipping spell card, dino, and you don't have enough GMX cards, for instance, you might get through 15 cards and take 6,000 and not be very happy with your life choices.
Research isn't cheap to fund.
It's not cheap to fund. Sometimes you pay with your own skin and blood. And if we flip over to the fusion monsters, you can see themselves. You can see that Noma and Kimmeridge were all too happy to shed their mortal skin and become dinosaur-type creatures.
Much more natural in this form.
Look how happy Alos is.
Always smiling.
We don't need human
Relax.
flesh. It's unnecessary. You just reject humanity and become dinosaur. It's that easy. So Alos here, these are both made by one GMX monster and one dinosaur monster. So as long as you hit the requirements, like you have to hit a GMX and a dinosaur to resolve the fusion experiment properly. So when you do that, you can get either of these monsters. So starting with Alos, every time your opponent normally or special summons, you gain 200 life points. So while the initial experiment is going to hurt horrifically while you are rejecting your humanity, you get this cool regenerative ability where every time your opponent is summoning something, you know, that's kind of like time passing, and your body is regenerating and becoming stronger as the experiment takes hold. Now, Alos, you know, what's one thing that dinosaurs are known for? Devouring others. And he has exactly that sort of effect. At the start of the damage step, if it battles an opponent's monster, you can destroy that monster. But Alos is also good at hunting in a pack. You can target a GMX monster or any dinosaur in your graveyard or banishment and special summon it. So if you remember back for Noma, she had that other effect that lets you fusion summon a GMX monster from your extra deck by shuffling its monsters to the field, graveyard, or banishment back into the deck. So if you have the experiment and Noma, you can summon both of these easily, and then you could just pick up one of the materials from the first one with Alos and get a third monster on the field. Now that doesn't matter as much right now, but what you want to use that on is whatever GMX monster or dinosaur monster has the when summoned by a monster effect ability that you want to use. So for example, if you hit Noma and Danine and you use it to make Alos, then you can use Alos to summon back Noma and use her effect to target a card from each graveyard. Sorry, one card each from your graveyard and your opponent's graveyard and put them on the top or the bottom of the deck.
Okay.
So it kind of works like that. Or you could just summon Kimbridge back and target 2 cards in your graveyard to stack them on top of your deck.
For future research purposes.
Yes. Alternatively, you could use Salon to summon Kimbridge, to stack the cards, and then immediately play GMX Experiment if you already have it. And then you know you're only taking 800 because you put the cards on top of the deck. You know what they are already.
It's a really creative way to get more monsters onto the field.
It's also a higher attack monster as well. And because you're using dinosaurs and non-dinosaurs, that opens you up for using the Evolution Pill cards. Beta Evolution Pill, Ultra Ascendance, and Double Evolution Pill. So you might not even have to fusion summon sometimes. You can just cheat them right into play by attributing 2 monsters with whose combined attack is less than 3,000.
Cool.
To get Alos, and then revive one of them back with Alos. It's really nice.
It is nice.
And then Velox, on the other hand, is a little more unpredictable. So she also has the regenerative ability. Now this is a quick effect. You can target any card your opponent controls. And you start excavating cards again, kind of like you do with the experiment, until you hit a GMX or a dinosaur monster. You lose 400 for each. Then you get to take that monster that you found and either add it to your hand or special summon it, and then the rest go back into the deck. And then after that, you destroy the card that you targeted at the start. So there's a lot of stuff that goes on here when you are resolving this effect, and it's just a huge swing in cards when you do. You're taking out your opponent's card, you're getting another one for yourself. Assuming that you're hitting a GMX card or something like that, that's another monster effect that special summons a monster. So you get whatever that effect as well. It could be a stacking effect, a special summon effect. It's just, you don't know what it's going to be, but it's going to be something good.
Yeah, I mean, this is like Zodiac Dryden with more.
It's a little harder to play.
A little harder to summon, yeah.
But it's a really fantastic card. And that is all 7 of the first wave of GMX cards. So what do you think about that? Are we ready to give up our humanity and embrace dinosaur?
I'm down.
Yeah?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right.
Next time you see me, I will be a dinosaur.
Let's begin the experiment.
Yeah, I really like the GMX, the New World Premiere theme. Really cool stuff. I really like the design space in it. The researching, the artwork's amazing, and the effects are really, really cool. But yeah, Burst Protocol from top to bottom. I'm in love with the set. I think a lot of awesome themes are getting some new cards. We have some new cards like Fallen, like the Albaz cards are absolutely incredible. Forbidden Crown's gonna be one you're not gonna want to miss out on. Just absolutely love Burst Protocol.
It's good stuff. I am excited to play the dinosaur deck. I would like to play GMX a lot. So maybe I will hit up premiere event and see if I can put that together in time for Richmond.
Yep, definitely. And right after this set releases, just about a week afterwards, we do have the 300th YCS that's happening. 3 different tournaments all around the world, LATAM, NA, EU. You'll be able to watch the live stream, so you're going to want to make sure you don't miss all of the action, where we're going to be able to see these cards be played in tournament and see how they fare in the metagame. And also, if you just go to the premiere event beforehand, you'll be able to get your hands on these cards before they get all popular on the live stream. So make sure you go to use your Neuron app, go to yu-gi-oh-card.com, whatever you have to do, find out your closest OTS that's holding a premiere event, and make sure you get your hands on Burst Protocol. Thanks for joining us. I'm Billy Brake. This is Jerome McHale. We'll see you next time. We'll see you at the 300th. Thank you again.